a design that was done by Anna during our creative time at work. And this is a design that she is calling For the Frill of It, that works with a round trio and then a bunch of 15-0 seed beads, and then kind of whatever you want to hang down on the bottom. It has a nice kind of shabby chic vintage look to it, which kind of describes Anna perfectly. And she wanted me to do this video for her and show you guys how to do this technique. Also, you can use this technique for other design ideas as well. If you want to do the earrings with me, the materials that you will need, I'll list them off. Also in the top right hand corner of the video, there's a little eye if you take your mouse over it. That'll give you information from us as the video creator with links to all of the different products that you can order from us online. Also below the video at the very bottom, there's always a little description button of when the video was created and what it's about. If you hit show more on that button, it'll give you links to the different products as well. The fun thing with this design is you can use a bunch of different things to hang down from the bottom. I'm going to be switching it up from the check glass teardrops to some gemstones. So if you need the materials, we are going to get started with 2 of our round trio beads. And I'm using the round trios in the white shimmer color, and we have 2 of those that we'll be linking in and working with. In addition to the 2 round trios, I have 11-0 and 15-0 seed beads. The 11-0 are the silver lined blush color, or that nice kind of rosy color that I'm going with, kind of a beachy look for this design. For the 15-0s, which are also a Meiki brand, it is the Duracoat Galvanized Champagne, which many of you might be familiar with because I use it a lot. It's kind of my go-to golden-y color, that it's not bright gold, it's a nice kind of subtle gold. In addition to the 2 seed beads, the 11 and the 15, I also have some beads that I'm going to use to drop down and to kind of make a statement at the bottom of the earring. Like I said, Anna used the check glass teardrops here. I'm going to be using some 8mm faceted round brown Amazonite beads. You also will need, if you want to do these as earrings, a pair of ear wires and then some thread and needles to work with. I have size 12 beading needle and I will be using one of those. And then I have 0.006 wildfire beading thread in the white color. Since I am using the wildfire thread, I have my thread zap here, or my thread burner, which is going to be used to cut the cord and burn it off so that way it doesn't fray and it makes it easy to cut off the roll. I also have a pliers here to flatten out the end of the thread. Once I burn it off, it's going to be easier to put on my needle if I can flatten out the end of the thread and then put it through the needle. So to get started, go ahead and put about 4 feet of beading thread onto a needle, and you can make little piles of your seed beads, and we'll get ready to make the first one together. So to get started with our design, I have my little piles of beads here that I have ready to go. And I also have on the end of my 4 feet of thread a bead stop, which is a bead that is not included in the project, and I've gone through the bead 2 times, taking the needle away from a 2 to 3 inch tail. From there, we're going to get ready to add our seed beads. So we're going to take our round trio, which is going to be the central bead, and we're going to go through one of the outer holes of the round trio. If you haven't used them before, they have 3 holes. We're going to go through one of the outer holes. From there, we're working with our 11s first, putting on 3 11-0 seed beads, skipping the middle hole of the trio, and going through the 3rd hole. What that's going to do is put those 3 beads right along the side of the round trio. On the opposite side now, as you're coming out, add 3 more beads. You're coming out the top hole of the round trio. I want you to go into the bottom hole of the round trio. When you come out the other side, make sure you're not coming out one of the seed beads. What that's going to do is decorate each side of the round trio with 3 of our seed beads there. From there, we are going to add in beads all the way around the trio. To add in the beads around the trio, take your thread and needle through the 3 beads that are already on the side. And now we're going to add 6 beads along the top. The The 6 beads then, after you add them, you're going to sew through the 3 beads on the opposite side. You can see they're going to sit then just kind of perfectly around the round trio. So we added 6 at the top, but at the bottom, we're going to add whatever we want in our design. So at the bottom here, like I said, Anna had done a teardrop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a gemstone for the bottom. I also have these fun crystals sitting here. This is kind of an example of you can just kind of pick up whatever you're working with and see the design that you want. So here at the bottom, we're going to do the same idea with putting on 6 beads. However, we're going to start with 3 beads. So that's half of our 6. Push those down along the end of the trio. And now we're going to add another bead. That other bead is going to be the bead that we kind of cross through in order to add our bead at the bottom. So we're going to add a 4th seed bead and let that drop down. From that 4th seed bead, I'm going to add, for my design, 1/15, and I'll add the crystal in, sure. And it's a 4mm round crystal. I had it on my mat from the previous project. And then I'm going to add my 8mm round bead. If you have a teardrop bead that you're working with and you want to add, you're just going to string right through the hole of the teardrop with 1 11/0 on the side. From here at the bottom of a bead, if you don't have a bead that you're stringing straight through, what you're going to need to do is create a little stop at the bottom of the bead. To do so, I'm going to add 3 of my 15s. So this shows you that you can use any bead at the bottom of this drop. Then sew back up through the 8mm round bead and give a nice tight pull. And that'll put a little picot trim or a little kind of triangular trim right there on the bottom for you. From there, we are also sewing up through the 4mm round and up through the 15/0 seed bead and out. Again, give a nice tight yank so you don't see any extra thread. From here, the seed bead that sits along the bottom, because remember we put on those 3 seed beads and then we put on a 4th, I'm actually going to string my thread and needle through and come up then towards the top. From there, 3 more of the 11/0s go on to the needle. At this point then you'll be done the 11/0s and we're going to string through the 3 on this right hand side, or I'm sorry, the first one on the right hand side that we originally were coming out of. So at this point just kind of pull that stop bead towards the back so it's out of the way, and you can see that nice design that we're going to put the frill on the top of. So to get ready to put the frill on the top, we're coming out of the first seed bead that we have on our original group of 3 11/0 seed beads. To add the 15/0s in and to get our frills, we are going to be adding them in groups of 5. So put 5 of your 15/0s onto your needle. And then we're going to do it almost in a peyote style, where we're skipping the next bead and going into the 3rd bead. Give a nice tight yank because you don't want any extra thread to be showing. When you're coming out that 3rd bead that we put along the round trio, continue on with 5 seed beads. Skip the next bead in line and go through the next one at the top. Give a nice tight yank to make sure to pull it close. You can see this is almost getting you like little petals. You're going to continue this the whole way around, adding in your 5 seed beads, skipping a bead, and then sewing into the next one. And adding your next little petal. You can change up the count on this. You can even change up the bead if you want to, and go with a bigger bead, an 11/0, which will kind of add more of that frill. Might get a little bit busy though at the top. And there is, oops, another loop. And you're going around here, constantly adding in the 5 seed beads for your little frills and sewing in. So I have my little kind of points of my star there. I have one more to add in, so you're going to end up with 6 groupings of 3. Sorry, 6 groupings of 5 rather than 3. And then you're coming out. From here, when you're coming out your last bead, we have our 3 beads, or I'm sorry, we're coming out the first bead here in our group of 3 that we did to go down. I'm going to reinforce my bottom bead here after I have in those 6 little petals. We're going to go through all of the seed beads there, down through our gemstone, out through the bottom. If you had a teardrop on, again, you'd just go through the 11-0, the teardrop, the 11-0, going through my picot trim, and then back up through that same rotation of beads. And if you do have a stack of beads like this, it's best to go through all of them at one time than trying to get the needle to kind of come out between them. Going up the side then, I'm going to go up 2 beads and stop. Once you're up 2 beads here, we're going to kind of continue the pattern and add in more of our little frills. I did want to stop at this point though to show you that it's kind of a cute earring as is by itself, so you can continue with the design if you would want to. If you want to, you can also put in 2 petals, making the petals kind of stick out lower and having those more of that frill. Here at the end then, we are coming out the bead. We're going to come out, I'm sorry, the 3rd bead there. Sewing out the 3rd bead in that group of 3. So we're out the 3rd bead that's along the end there, coming out before our first little frill. From here, we're continuing on with that pattern of 5 seed beads. So you're going to put on your 5 beads. And just like we did before, we're going to skip over the next bead, which is going to be the one beside or the start of one of your little petals. And you're going to sew through the next bead in line, which as we go around in the circle, you're going to realize is the center point of all of the little frills that you made before. So the frill goes on and 5 more seed beads go on. The 5 seed beads go on. I'm going to skip over the next bead and sew through the central bead of the next frill. What I do want to make sure is to kind of keep these all to the same side. So I'm pushing back and away from the stop bead, or towards the stop bead. I'm pushing the previous row of my frills. So I put my next one on and sew through the next 11-0 and out. You can see the double stack starting along the little frills there, getting more of that design element. 5 more seed beads go on, and going through the next 11-0 in the middle. And I do have enough thread, I should have mentioned before, to do both pairs. So when you cut your original thread, that way you don't have to thread the needle again. Go in here, and I have 2 more to do. This one right here, bending back then, and making sure that frill stays towards the top and that it's not getting twisted in another one. And that gets that one. And then 1 more. As I finish up the 5th and final one here, I'll go down towards the project. If you want to, you can go back into the project and reinforce again. I'm actually going to add a tiny bit of a design element, going down the 3 beads and coming out right before the 11-0 that my thread is joined in. When I come out right there, I'm going to add 1 15-0 to sit on top, and then back up through those 3. For our next pass around, I'm going to go up through the 3 beads on the side and come out towards the back of the project. So that 15-0 you can see is just going to kind of sit right there in the middle. When I come out the back of the project now, what I want to do is another repeat of the frills that I just did, but this time they're going to be on that back side. That's going to fill it out a little bit more and get my 3rd row of my frills in place. So from here, kind of bending the thread back and going in again between the beads on the original peaks. You're going to go in and put all of your groupings of 5 seed beads in. When you come towards the end then, you're going to be coming out right near and right next to your stop bead. From there, I'll get ready to show you guys exactly how we tie it off and how we're going to put it then onto our ear wire. So I have the last group of 5 on my needle, and I'm coming through that central bead there on the opposite side of my piece, which is going to be back towards the starter bead. Pull that in there, making sure that it stays cooperative to the back side here. And then you can see the thread ends in the same place. So I have kind of my beautiful little earring there, little elegant earring. And what I'm going to do is slide off the stop bead, so that original bead that I had on. Sometimes to slide off the stop bead, excuse me, you'll need a needle to do so, that you can kind of put a needle at the end and sew out of it. Or you can go in, pull out the thread, find out which thread, the first one or the second one, is your second thread, and get it off. I'll kind of separate those out a little bit, rather than going between the 2. And see which thread I can pull that will make a difference. If you have trouble getting off your stop bead, like I said, you can put your thread and needle on and sew back through. Once I pull it away from the project a little bit, I can usually take my fingers and just slide it off. From there, the 2 thread ends are together, and you're just simply going to tie a knot. Right over left, and then left over right. From there, take your thread zap or your thread burner. You're going to burn down the edges really close, and then go into the little bits of thread that are there and burn them down flush next to the project. What this is going to do is create a little balled end, that way that your knot will not kind of let go and fall loose. From there, the first one of our ruffled earring is completed. And I'm going to go in now and do my second one, and then we'll attach it to our ear wire. So once you complete your second frill earring here, you have them both ready to go to put onto your ear wires. They also would look nice on a post as well. But the really, really simple and easy thing to do right now is to open up your ear wire. Depending on which kind it is, it'll probably open to the back or to the front. And you're just going to push it open a tiny little bit. Go to the center peak of your earring here, to that center frill. Remember, we did kind of 6 at the beginning. So you're going to go to that 4th frill, which is almost at the center. And you're going to just attach it to your ear wire. On the next one, same thing. Open up the ear wire, pushing back, attaching one of your center frills right in there, closing up your ear wire, and you are ready to go. So you are ready to wear your nice simple frill earrings here, having fun creating them and adding to the design with whatever elements you want along the bottom, or whatever elements you decide to put along the base here. And I really like this design, even though it's simple. It gives a lot of ideas and a lot of suggestions of kind of how to have fun and go outside of the box when working with really, really simple materials. If you need any of these materials, again, at the beginning of the video or kind of in that eye at the top here, you can get that list of what I used in the video, as well as link to the products online. Also below the video, to the description of the video, that show more button will give you links to these as well. You can also always stay tuned with us and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like ideas like this or some of the other recent videos that we've done as well. Check those out and you'll get regular updates from us when we have new things available for you. You can also shop with us at PotomacBeads.com and stay connected with us there, as well as online through Facebook and Instagram. Through Facebook also, you can become a member of our beading group for beading and jewelry making. And there is a great interactive group of people that love to make jewelry, love to give suggestions and help out for design ideas as well. So have fun interacting with everybody there. A shout out and a thank you for Anna for letting me do the video for the Frill of It earrings. And have fun, everybody, creating and getting creative with your seed beads, with your designs, and some things that you may have kind of leftovers on the shelves, and work with them as well. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching, and have fun creating.